Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So it's funny. I've got several properties for sale right now, and a couple that are in escrow sold. I got two more to put on, a couple little houses, and I have one that I actually hadn't thought about. I mean, I'm considering selling it, but I got to have something to roll it into. But it's about a $3 million building, something like that. And I actually just got a, a request saying, "Hey, are you ready to sell now?" And we've already come to a price that works. So that was actually nice, just like 10 seconds ago. But look, today we can talk about just about anything you want, as usual. Actually, I've got the ninja here behind me that we can watch him if you want. But really, what I've been looking at is the economy, and I'm just because all of you know that I have a lot of property and I do a lot of renovation and remodels. I also do a lot of value add stuff, and I've done really a lot this last year, and I've seen the prices go up like crazy. I've seen labor go up like crazy. I've seen the workmanship go down in some cases. And but people very, very still getting away with charging a lot. And this disinflation. Disinflation. If you're not familiar with that term, it just means inflation isn't rising as fast as it was, but it still is. It's just rising at a little bit slower rate. Prices still are going up. Hey Liam, hey Ernest, how you doing tonight, guys? I'm so thankful, and for my students too. I've got a mentorship. If you're not familiar with Flip Anything USA, I've got the best and brightest students and the most successful students, bar none. Compare us to anybody out there. I've got the most successful students. I mean, it's just obvious. It's just really fantastic. Hey, Clint, glad you're in here too. So what I want to tell everybody, though, is you got to be really cautious right now. And I mean, you should always be careful anyways. But, there's so many noobs out there that get into real estate and are getting terrible guidance. And I've seen some people get into this gator lending, which is an absolute nightmare, what I've witnessed of it. And I've got actually I've got a video that I'll be releasing maybe tonight or tomorrow on a guy that is an ex-gator lender, and for good reason. And it's just, this is the time to really not spend your money foolishly. In fact, it's the time to cut your overhead. Keep your overhead super low as you can. Maybe get rid of some of the things you don't need, or utilize as much as you do. I've got two homes that I use and play with that I don't utilize that much. I may go ahead and rent one of them out, or at least one of them out. This is like second and third home stuff, but I've got a budget within there, and I'm pretty well established, and not everybody is so fortunate, but I still, nevertheless, I never lost the fear of when I've had less in the past. And it's important that you keep that fear close to you, because you look like Ben Mala. Ben Mala's really got stung. He's got a thing, I think it's called 1031sale.com. And I see properties that he bought as recently as, I think, just a couple of years ago that he's got back up, that he's got them putting them up for sale. And there's no way they're going to pencil if these properties that he bought at a 4%, and he was looking at stuff that was at a 6 cap at the time. Some of the stuff he was looking at, and I mean, if he bought something at a 6 cap, and he got it for 4% interest, and it's coming due, you're going to take a loss on that, because nobody can buy it at a 6 cap. It just doesn't make any sense. There's a handful of people that, if they get inherited wealth, maybe they'll roll it into something like that. If they're really, really dumbed down and they don't know crap about money, and that might be a safe place for some of them. And a lot of people, they get caught in this paralysis by analysis. And then sometimes, in fact, the one of the guys that you'll see in this upcoming video kind of fits that a little bit. He just wanted to get something. He just wanted to do something. A lot of people do that. I just want to do something. And then they they don't think it through, and then they do something, and it's, I always tell all my students, easy to do, hard to undo. But yeah, so regarding the crash, let me just tell you some of the things I've seen. I've seen reduction after reduction after reduction on properties that have been on the market for quite a long time, and some of that is being spurred on by some of the new listings that are coming on that are low, but some are still ridiculously high. I mean, retail for $500 a foot. I mean, it just doesn't make sense in most places. And and like I was jumping all over the place here, but this in San Diego, a 3.6 cap. There's pockets in, like, Santa Barbara is one of them. I can tell you, even Santa Barbara 30 years ago, and I bought property in and around Santa Barbara, but in Santa Barbara, even back then, you could buy a duplex and lose $3,000 a month. It was more of a prize just to own property in the area, or it was a long-term play, I guess. I wasn't in a position to do that stuff 30 years ago. I mean, everything I buy, and I still have that same thing, everything I buy pretty much has to make money. Make a few exceptions on, second and third homes, stuff like that, but it just doesn't make sense. But I can tell you, because I'm in the trades, and as much as I hire a lot of trades, my phone's been lit up quite a bit here lately, with people calling me looking for work. People that normally wouldn't be calling me for work. Normally I just call them, and and they squeeze me in. I keep them busy, and I have my base crew that I've been keeping everybody really busy. But when your phone's ringing and people are soliciting work from you, that's a sign of things going down. When people are calling up and offering you to sell property, or to remind you that they had a price drop on a listing that you were interested in, that's a sign that times are getting tough. I was talking to a banker in my jiu-jitsu earlier today, and he was saying, he goes, man, we just got people that are just way over extended. They're over their heads. And he's talking about guys that make $30,000 to $80,000 a month. And he said, no, he goes, these guys buy, 5 cars for, Lexuses, they finance them for their kids, or, things like that. It's just hugely wasteful mistakes that, a lot of people don't realize. Look, and I'll use Ben as an example, and I know Ben's a smart guy. I have a lot of respect for him. But, he screwed up, and he didn't refi his properties, and now he's paying a horrible price, maybe almost $7 million a year now in interest payments, that, $500 and some odd $1,000 a month that he didn't have to pay a few years ago. And, that was probably his play money. And so now you see a bunch of his property going on the market for sale. I think it's because, at some point you gotta face the music and realize, hey, things ain't coming back, and I'm in a spiral going down the drain. I'm not saying that's exactly his case, but it is for some of his property for sure. Now, it doesn't mean you can't buy. Obviously, I've been buying property. I've actually was in contract on 2 properties in the last week, and one of them I know is not going to work out because of the bureaucracy with the cities. I've got, if you need a new electrical service that calls for engineering, and now you're looking at, and believe me, the cities have no respect for you. I'm just telling you in general. The city management, it's terrible. And appraisal districts as well. I'll be going to arbitration, fighting an appraisal here in about less than a month, which I expect to prevail nicely on that. I did on my last one. Yeah, let's see, Johnson wrote, private lenders are getting picky. Oh, of course they are, absolutely. Here's the deal, and this Pace Morby Gator guy that I have coming in, real good guy. You're going to see this video come out tonight or tomorrow. He really gave me a good insight on the Gator. This idea of loaning money on what they call EMD, on earnest money deposits. I mean, you would have to be an absolute fool to loan money for an earnest money deposit. You understand there's no collateral, and a lot of people don't understand, look, banks are professionals at making money. They loan depositors' money, right? They loan depositors' money. And then when they do loan that money out, they make sure that it's collateralized, so they have a means to get it back if people default. They check their credit record, of course, and all that sort of thing. But they have a means of in general of getting the money back. They only loan, to a certain amount of value, but they don't loan on air. They don't loan on air. I have unsecured lines of credit and stuff, but that's something you get through, having a very high, net worth to debt ratio. In other words, my debt's very low, so they can say, oh yeah, we can give you that on a signature. That's easy to do. But like Rob's talking about private lenders getting piggy, yeah, they are. Of course they are. Listen, the only time I've ever loaned money is when I was like, I would like to have that property. Not that I want them to default, but it's like, yeah, I'll make I'll make good money on this. I'll charge you a lot. And because you're going to make a lot of money on this deal. You've got a lot of, there's a lot of, there's a big delta there and what you're going to make on it. Well, that's fine, but I only loan money on stuff that I'd be happy to foreclose on, right? And and I can tell you, I've had to take some properties back from people, but I didn't have to foreclose. What I did was I would offer, rather an option to foreclosure, is I say, look, you can deed it back to me in lieu of foreclosure. And so in other words, instead of me foreclosing, I just deed it back to me and we're good. And then I resell it to somebody else for less, and I make up for it. Roofing in Arizona is slow right now. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Grant, that's interesting. In general, the beauty of roofing, in fact, I was joking with somebody the other day, they should make a 5-year shingle, right? They got 15-year shingle, 20-year shingle, 30-year shingle. They need a 5-year shingle, okay? For in places like in Texas and other places where you have a storm every 5 years that devastates the roof anyways. I mean, why do you need a 15-year shingle if you have an ice storm that takes out your roof anyways? Liam had just bought a property. It's all about buying under market. I mean, relative to what the market is, and as long as you have a good, a good thermostat to measure, to measure what's going on, and a lot of people don't. And those are the ones got to be careful. You have to be buying it, and this is the secret to my success, is everything I buy is far under market for what I'm paying for it. I don't buy anything unless it is an absolute no-brainer, worth at least 35% more than I'm paying for it. And that doesn't mean, if something was worth whatever, say 300, sure, I'll pay 200 for it. But if it was worth 300 last year, and now it's worth 225, then I'm only going to pay 150 for it. You understand? In other words, relative to today's prices, and you have to understand that values do fluctuate wildly. And I've got to say, I'm really happy. I've got two of my students actually that met with and are getting closer to making a deal on a couple, and that's exactly the recipe they're following. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from Justin and Amber, and we'll see them Saturday, and hopefully they will nail something. Why would you ever lend money on earnest money? No, it's madness. And what I can tell you, Orlando, you're right, and that's the common sense reaction that you would expect. But what happens is, or what I'm learning about, and you guys will see about this, people will go into something like Pace Morby's deal, and they're going. They don't feel good maybe about the sub 2 thing or that type of thing, which I agree is not a good way to go at all. And but so they go, well, if you're busy, maybe there's an alternative. You can be a gator lender. And so what we find out in this interview is that when they become a gator lender, or this is what's been represented to me, I can't say for sure. I don't know, other than what somebody's told me, but supposedly they're a gator, is that you go in there and they sell you on this thing for about $3,000, but then it's like, oh, but wait a minute, if you're going to do that, it's upsell after upsell after upsell. In fact, that was what put the final kibosh on this guy. So he buys the $3,000, then he gets, you need leads, the leads. You got to have leads, and you need our special lead system or our lead referral. And there's another $1,000. So now it's $4,000, right? So then it's like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do business with us, if you want to do business with us, then you have to get an LLC, and it has to be from our designated company. You have to buy it from these guys. So there's another upsell. Now, a guy that goes in thinking he's getting in this $3,000 system, all of a sudden he's got another 1,000 for list. He's got another 1,000 or 2,000 more for getting an LLC. Suddenly, he didn't know that in the beginning, but now he knows you got to get an LLC. And then, and he doesn't. Nobody needs an LLC. I can tell you right now. There's so much bullshit around that. It's ridiculous. I bought, millions of dollars of property before I ever had an LLC. They do come into play. The more you have, the more you will need them. But in the beginning, you have insurance and you have different basic coverage that takes care of those things. But so in other words, you just get deeper and deeper. And I've seen other, these morbid people that, they get in and then they're told, oh, well, maybe, get this from my associate, get in this program, or maybe this is what you should be doing, lending, get into this program. And then with every program you get into or person you get handed off to, these guys, many, they have systems where they hand you off to somebody. Well, you think you're done with them. You think you're dealing with somebody new, but really they're getting a piece of the action of everything that you do thereafter. So if you're buying lead lists, if you're, getting an LLC, and I'm not saying this is specific to PACE, but in other words, everybody keeps getting shook down for more and more, told what they need, or when they get discouraged, they say, well, you know what? Maybe you're just in the wrong thing. You need to do something a little bit different. We'll give you a deal. And then they get thrown into another thing. And, the worst thing that can happen to a young person or even an old person, I don't care, is to go in and just keep getting depleted of your savings. I won't even let anybody in my class. I ask people, how liquid are you? Not because I want their cash, not because I'm going to fleece them like a lot of the fun guys do. I just simply want to know what your chances are. I'd like to know that you have a discipline for saving money. If you tell me you don't have shit in the bank and you're 30 years old, it's like, well, you better get your shit together and, get a skill and start learning how to save and show a discipline. Because if you don't show a discipline to being able to save, you're not right for me. Hey, by the way, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I kind of cut the webinars off until I kind of closed it until the end of this month. I still may go ahead and go live tonight. Anybody that wants to get in the webinar, just make a note, and maybe I'll go ahead and open up and I'll do a Zoom with some of you. No pressure. I don't care if anybody signs up or not. Listen, I made my money in real estate. I don't need to make it off of other people, but people that do want guidance, and you can see the results. I got a fantastic group of people, many millionaires in my class, by the way. I'll just quickly plug this, so bear with me. But you go to FlipAnythingUSA, and you will see the happiest, most wonderful faces are guys like Jerry here, that's a pastor, made $2 million on his last deal after making several six-figure flips. Josh here, almost a millionaire now just in real estate. Shane, couple $100,000, over $500,000-600,000 here, over $1 million here, over $1.4 million here, and right now over $3 million right here, over $3 million this student, and this is all in a very short amount of time, and I got then way more than that. In fact, I think the average student, when I do the math on it, and I can't specifically, but I'll say safely between 40 and 60,000. Per student, that's the average, right? Some make nothing, but some make millions, and it's very, very real, and it's a teachable art, and you can learn it. You can get the skills. So, anyways, also, if you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. This will be the best $10-20 you ever spend. I promise you. I'll buy it. I'll buy the book back from you if you don't think it's absolutely an amazing deal. Okay. Again, so much stuff is out there that is horrible for people, and people just don't get it. People don't get it, and a lot of good gullible people. Even my own father got taken for $20,000 back in the '80s by a company called Encino Elite Car Wash in California, and I'd still like to find out who owns it and get even with them. But so let's see. Hey everyone, that is me. Tom is talking about. I'm open to any questions about it. What are you talking about, Michael? What are you talking about? Don't get one. Don't get one what, Michael? Elaborate, please. How's that hat fit? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so we were talking about, anyways, with Pace Morby. I refer to it as the $8,000 hat club, right? $8,000 hat club. And you know what? And unfortunately, and I don't like to make fun of people or pick on people, and I like to be patient. And I understand that people are young and dumb, and and can be quite gullible. And some people, older people, are also quite gullible. Doesn't make them bad. I just told you, my own father, was a little bit gullible and got taken advantage of. And so, but I do get frustrated when I see people go into my comments and adamantly talk about something they know absolutely nothing about. And I've had many people get in my class and they say, yeah, I used to be one of those smart asses in your comments, but I realized you were right. And then they come back in and then they join. And it's a good thing, and it's a beautiful thing. Oh, you didn't get the hat, Michael. I get it. Anyways, look, we can talk about absolutely anything you want. Real estate ninja, we've got, for some reason, a lot of people watch me, watch him. I don't know too much about, I think his name's Travis, but he talks about some of the things that's going on. Oh, Tom, it's Mike, the one who bought Pace's program. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I am. I'm actually talking about Michael, who's actually right here. He's the one who bought Pace's program. Yeah, well, you're going to have your video debut here pretty soon, Michael. We're still tuning it up, making sure, we do a good job for you. And, as you saw, we removed the red line and all that sort of thing. So Paul Millsap wrote, "Sir, can you discuss if there is a verification authority for formal written documents, if there is one, as it relates to the real estate finance docs?" Paul, I'm actually not sure what you're talking about. You'd have to give me a little bit more information. DL, yeah, I didn't see how loaning someone money to deposit on a house would make you any money. And how can they pay me back? Yeah, no, you're gambling. 100%, I agree. When I get my money back, and if they don't pay, listen, that's the thing. People don't understand. The money is in buying real estate. In fact, let me share a screen here with you real quick. Just maybe this will make it simple for some of you. Look, not everybody is so good with math. Some are pretty good, and I'm really good at basic math, and that's what's made me rich, is just knowing basic math. But understand, just a quick understanding. If I borrow, I'm going to make it. I'll relate it to. Let's just say I borrow 20. Let me get a little bit heavier deal here. Okay, here we go. So if I borrow $20,000, right, and that's to buy an $80,000 property, right? So, I'm sorry, this is my down, okay, and I borrow $80K. The purchase price is $100K. Okay, now I'm not even going to make it current to current rates. I'm just going to make it real simple. So let's say that the property in question that I buy for $100,000, let's just say it has, we'll just say it has an 8 cap, meaning it makes 8%. If you paid cash for the whole property, you'd make $8,000 a year on your $100,000. Okay, that's an 8 cap. So on my $20,000, that's mine, free and clear, I'm making 8% on that. So I'm making $1,600 on my $20,000 that's invested because I'm getting an 8 cap on it, right? Now, on the borrowed money, that's $80,000. Now, let's say I'm borrowing it and I'm borrowed it at 4%. Okay, so I'm borrowing that at 4%. So, but because I've got an 8 cap, right? Because I've got an 8 cap, I'm making 4% on $80,000. So on the $80,000 that's borrowed, I'm making $3,200, right? I'm making $3,200 on that. So between the two of them, now I'm making $4,800. I'll bring this down here. I'm making $4,800. and I'm making 2/3 of that 4,800 is coming from the borrowed money, the borrowed dollars, right? That's the 80K. And I'm making, like I said, I'm making on my money, on my savings, we'll call it savings for this example. I'm making 16K on the 20K. So think about this. This is where the money is in buying and borrowing, not in lending. So you do the math on this again, and now, so think about, you're going to be a gator lender, okay? You're going to be a gator lender, and you're going to loan somebody their earnest money deposit. What do you think you're going to loan? $2,000, $20,000, whatever it is. What are you going to get? You're going to get, whatever. It's just for the sake of saying, you're going to loan $5,000. You're going to loan $5,000 at what? 10%? So you're going to get $5,000 annually, or maybe you're going to, get a premium, get some points. In other words, on your $5,000 that you loan, if you get 10% on that, you're going to make $500. That's like nothing, folks. And your risk is through the roof, okay? It's very, very high, very, very high. Especially if it's EMD, right? If it's EMD, you're loaning money on air, basically. So anyways, I think that makes it clear, but if anybody wants to talk about that, we can. Let's see. Alex wrote, how do you feel about buying for cash flow and investing that money in stocks? Terrible idea. Usually areas that don't appreciate have better cash flow. I don't know if that's true. I think Section 8, I don't believe any of that's true, Alex, to be honest. That's not my experience. I've been buying real estate for over 42 years. And the deal is, Alex, is when you have money, you have power because you have the ability to buy. You buy under market. Hey, by the way, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Enjoy the company and would appreciate the support. The bottom line is, if you buy under market, in other words, this is the beauty of real estate. You can buy something for $100,000, that's worth $200,000. So you can make $100,000 the day you purchase it. And I've done that. And many of my students have done that, even better than that. I have a student just made basically $2 million the day he closed. And that can happen. Johnny wrote, I'm in the mortgage business, and borrow money from people you don't know isn't an acceptable source of funds that can be used as deposit or down payment for all loans except some hard. Yeah, that's the other thing. So, Johnny, that'd be interesting to get your input on this too, because I understand that there's some of these offshoot upsells where they're teaching you to upgrade your corporate, you're basically your corporate entity to have like good credit, to look like it has good credit. Listen, that's foolish to me. You don't create a credit score for your entity unless that entity has assets and has income. You're not going to just simply create it out of thin air, and that's what people are led to believe. Michael wrote, according to Pace, you're going to get 100% cash-on-cash return. Well, but have you ever seen it done? That's what it'd be. Everybody, so many people that comment on Pace, big talk and nothing, crickets, when you say, all right, prove it. And these are the ones that you say, show me a HUD or you're a dud. I think that's a phrase that was coined, through the Pace Morby group, but I don't think they use it anymore because it backfires on them, because I use it on them all the time and nobody can ever back it up with a HUD. I actually had a guy said, I made over $1 million. And I said, okay, shit, prove it. I said, I'll have you on the show. He goes, just send me a couple of your HUDs. And he sent me a fraction of that amount. And then he says, well, come on, man. I know you want to get some followers and this, that. I said, I don't give a shit about followers. I got the least amount of followers of anybody. I care about serving the public. I'm on the right side of this, and that's where I want to be. I could care less about any of that other stuff. Yep, nope. What do you mean about what you said about business credit? Yeah, so people that don't know think that maybe you can create credit out of thin air. You know, anybody would tell you, and I'll tell you everybody right now, go get an American Express card. It's one of the best things you can do to train your kids. You know, I mean, I'm a grandpa even now, so I'll be telling my grandson this before long. But you establish credit. In other words, it's very tough when you're in the beginning because it's very difficult to borrow money because you don't have any previous credit. But at some point when you have a job, when you show stability with a job, I would say this is the starting point. You mortgage guys, you can argue with me or tell me what your thoughts. But basically, to give somebody new credit, somebody that never had credit before, they'll look at, have you saved? Do you have any savings? And never borrow against your savings. That's ridiculous to me. But they'll look at, before you get a car loan, sometimes you have to have a cosigner and you can get a little credit for that if you make the payments on time. But in general, if you're beginning, having a stable income, showing that you have a job, and the banks look for the same thing anybody with any common sense would look for. You want to see somebody that's got a job, stable income, savings, because if you have a job for a year or two, you ought to have some savings, okay? If you don't have any savings, then what you're telling the bank and everybody else is that you don't know how to save. You don't have any discipline. Let's see. No way all loans will be qualified based on your personal credit, even if you, yeah. I can tell you that, 100%, Johnny, I agree. Yeah, so Johnny's a mortgage guy too. So basically, listen, the bank wants collateral. When I go buy a property, I have signature loans and stuff like that, but those are minor. But what I'm talking about, the big bucks, I have lines of credit, right? So I can go write a check for, a few $1 million. And the reason I can write it for a few $1 million is because it's basically underwritten or secured by an asset that I have that is worth much, much more. I have much more equity than that. You know what I mean? And that is what's interesting, and that is what's necessary to build credit is when you don't have that in the very beginning, at a minimum, you start with job. So they look at stable income. That's why when you're self-employed, and I started self-employed, the only money I could ever get was if it was owner financed. I had to go owner finance. I had no other options. There's nobody else that would loan me money. I remember my first loan from Norwest Financial was like 26% on a little flatbed truck I bought for my company. What's Kevin doing? I added all of my children as authorized users on my credit card. When they turn 16, this way when they turn 18, they instantly had, I never heard of that. I have not heard of that. He's basically saying that he put his 4 kids on his credit card as users. Doesn't mean he gave them a credit card and let them use it, I guess. But he's saying that they got some credit by doing so. And so, I don't know. I've never heard of that. And but if it works, it works. They never actually got the cards. Yeah, I understand that too. Otherwise, they may not have a 780 credit score, right? I mean, I tell you, it's a wonderful thing when you get your first piece of plastic when you're young and you're going, oh, great, I can buy anything, or, I can do this or that. But then, at the end and this is why I love American Express, the whole bill, whatever you charge that month, it's all due at the end of the month. It's a great lesson, and it keeps you to, keep a good perspective and to be very careful with your credit. So, okay, good. So, if you're a loan officer, this works. I'm a loan officer of 30 years and learned this long ago. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. So keep that tip. He's saying put your kids on your credit card as users, like create a card for each of them, but don't let them use it, and they'll get some credit, and that's fantastic. Liam wrote, I opened a credit card for my daughter when 18 and monitor the use of the payment, and at 21 she has 770 score. Yeah, very good, Liam. That's great. That's congrats. Listen, these are the milestones we want our kids to have, right? Is have good credit, home ownership, have a decent car, have a safe place to live. All those things are very important, and that's what real estate, can enable you to do. And anyways, what else you guys want to talk about? What else is there to discuss? So, look, we can look at Ninja here. If you guys want to look at the Ninja, see what he's talking about. Let me see. Oh, get rid of that. Right here. I don't know if anybody's a fan of Travis. We can watch this, or we can go to a different video altogether. But this is talking about vehicle prices dropping, which I've been kind of looking forward to. I got to tell you, there's some crooks too, by the way, on Facebook. I've been looking to buy another pickup, another Toyota Land Cruiser for basically for my crew, and I wanted one 10, 15 years old, but what's in good shape. And so these guys represented to have a car on Facebook that had 117,000 miles. I went down there, I checked the VIN. It had 371,000 miles. Said, see you later. About 2 weeks later, I see another truck for sale. And I thought, that's interesting, another 117,000 mile truck. And so I sent my guys to go look at it, and they go, Tom, it's the same damn truck, but they gave it a paint job. So something really smells out there. Pretty strange. Anderson Lynn wrote, I got a secured bank credit card to start my credit line. Okay, so good. So you're a young guy. That's good. Get it going. Take a note in the notes here what was said here, because it looks like what's Kevin doing? He's got some good input on that. Fred wrote, no, they do a percentage. They do a fee. And if you send $2,000 on EMD, you get $2,000 on top. Okay, so you're not really charging interest on the EMD. If you loan somebody an earnest money deposit, it sounds like you loan them the deposit, but you're doing it to get a piece of the action. So you're kind of becoming a partner. But listen, anyway, it still sounds like a nightmare. So you become an investor, and you're going to have, that kind of makes sense, because I've heard, I've seen, some of these Pace Morby stories, and, it's like 4 people splitting $13,000. It doesn't seem very worthwhile. DL wrote, he seems like a fearmonger, like he makes money off trading negative articles and starting it. Oh, you're talking about, who are you talking about? I think you're talking about, yeah, I've heard that. I don't know. Look, a lot of people seem to like this guy. He's not the kind of, he doesn't invest like I do. I don't even know much anything about him, but he does talk about current topics. And so that's, that's a thing, right? That's what kind of meet Kevin and Graham Stephan and, probably a million other people on YouTube. Oh, sharing negative articles. Yeah. Yeah, I generally just talk about my own experiences. And negativity-wise, right now, I see a lot of people hungry for work, less of it out there. A friend of mine called me, and he says, Tom, he goes, what do you think of, they want, what did he tell me, $9,000 to trench 80 feet of ditch and put in a water line. And I go, just that? Yeah, just a water line? I said, we might cross a couple of sprinkler lines, but you're not going to hit any power, And I go, I said, no, that's crazy. I said, shit, I'll do it for that. I can send some. I told him, I said, me and you can do it in a day. Half a day we can do that job. And, just kidding. I'm not going to get my hands dirty, but that's a good job. But they're on the paying side of it. And he goes, yeah, I just wanted to reconfirm that this is terrible. Yeah, the sky is falling. Yeah, understood. I don't even know that these guys had a book. But, all right, so look, how about, there's another guy, he's kind of got longer videos. Michael Bordenero, he sounds, I think he talks about just current events. I don't know that he owns much real estate. But, we were looking at Richard Fain the other day. Richard Fain doesn't sound like he's really a real estate investor. Yeah, first 3 minutes of his videos, usually about, kind of a Weeble commercial, and I'm totally against stocks. And like I say, I don't, listen, when you make a lot of money, you can, that's one of the benefits of making a lot of money is you can play, and I've started businesses, I've made some apps, I've done some things that actually turned out to be good investments, others that weren't so good. So I was playing with my money. I could be a much richer guy if I didn't play with my money. If I just stuck to only what I know, which is real estate, I'd be a much wealthier guy than I am today. And I've actually done really, really well. So anyways, I don't know. You guys better give me some direction here. What do we want to do? Hit this, start this, go somewhere else? Tell me what you want to do. Here, actually, I got board and arrow here written. What do you guys know about here? Look at delinquency skyrocketing. Okay, $6.5 million shortfall. No end in sight. Well, I mean, everybody's talking negative, right? But you know, it wouldn't be prudent to ignore some of the problems, right? Yeah, Kevin, you can get my app. Go to FlipAnythingUSA. I've invested in other apps. I mean, FlipAnything is an app I have. It's free, and I actually have a new app coming, by the way. You guys will see that in about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks. And hey, by the way, listen, get into, sign up for the webinar. Sign up for the webinar. I don't know that I'm going to have it tonight, but right there, free webinar, Thursday, 7 p.m. Get in here, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. It'll be a very good investment of your time. You learn probably more in my webinar than you learn in some people's entire classes, to be quite honest. But what you will see is that I'm the real deal, and that I have fantastic students that have made millions of dollars, many of them in a very short time. It's teachable. That's the best part of it. It clarifies. One of the things I do is I like to quantify success, quantify it actually with numbers and what money people have made. And somebody ended up pointing me over to Pace Morby's site, and he's got a thing called Success Stories, and you can watch every one of them. And most of them have said they're just hoping to make a deal. None of them made a deal, or most of them haven't made a deal. And the handful that have don't say how much they made. It doesn't make any damn sense unless it's just such a terrible, miserable number they don't want to talk about it. And look, I'm going to jump over there just to show you. So, yeah, it's still available. Go look it up, Kevin. Just go to the App Store and you'll find it, or the Droid Store, whatever that is. Anyways, are these any real players helping the new guys out? Yeah, well, me, I do. All right, so look, let's look at this. 41% of small business can't pay rent. This looks like a long video, though, 20 minutes. I don't know if I want to hang that long anyways. I can never watch the whole thing. It sucks now. Avoid moving to Florida. Here's another Richard Fain. How to make $100,000 in 12 months. Who knows? Yeah, now the migrant crisis. Yeah, that's something I don't even want to talk about. I'll get in trouble with YouTube if I do. What is the topography? Hill country is 1,000 feet deep to water, north south. Yeah, the water table is very low in many of the lakes here in Texas, because I know I have a lake house. Well, board and arrow, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I haven't seen anything here that sounds positive. So, but if you want to talk on a positive note, look, I can tell you right now, I bought 2 houses in the last 3 months, and I'm going to make $100,000 on one. I'm going to make $50,000 on the other. And I got my son working for me now, and I'm excited for him because he gets to see from an adult perspective just how lucrative real estate can be. And I would like that for everybody. I really would. It's a wonderful thing when I see, men 30, 40, 50 years old that are concerned about putting their kids through college, putting themselves in, retiring at a reasonable age, and they're finding that path, and they're finding it through real estate, the same way I have. And that's really what I want for everybody. And again, please hit that subscribe button. And Liam says he's got all city water. I'm not sure. I guess some of you guys are going off into other topics, and that's okay. All right. All right. You know what? I'm going to go to Ninja only because it's 10 minutes. But we'll watch Board and Arrow. Who watches Board and Arrow? Liam? How about you? Anybody out there? I don't want to just talk about our articles. I know these guys are article readers, but let me see here. All right, let's watch the little
Hey
ninja.
everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We're not going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about car prices. Why? Why is it important to real estate? The reason why is because as people have less and less money and buy less and less vehicles, even though there's less vehicles out there to buy, honestly.
So actually, we'll roll with this, okay? Because he's actually making a good point. I tell people, you buy the car of your dreams. This is the time to buy it. You know, like right now or in the next few months, as things get worse, and things will get worse, because that's what happens. You know, people sell off the second home as things get tough. People sell off the sports car when things get tough. You know, they get rid of a payment, they get rid of an insurance payment, whatever, they can bring in some cash because maybe they need cash. So let's roll with this and watch a little of this.
It shows signs of a weakening coming economy and it will move in and out and through the real estate market.
I agree.
So I love cars. I'm going to be honest with you. I like anything fast. I like muscle cars. I like exotic cars. Yes, I even like Kias. But my point being is that I do like cars, and I like buying them very inexpensive. Now, in the last handful of years, we've seen a lot of vehicles explode in price, explode in value, but really, was it a value? No, it wasn't. It's because a lot of people that didn't have money raced into a market supported by ultra low interest rates, long terms, and bought things they couldn't afford, right? I guess most people would say things they can't or shouldn't deserve. And then at inflated prices. And then you add on that supply chain issues.
Yeah, you know, we've had a lot of things that affected car issues. You know, I was really upset way back when Obama did this thing, Cash for Clunkers, and they basically took all the cars off the street that were the kind of vehicles that a first time car buyer would buy, kids would buy, right? You know, a $5,000 car that's used that might have maybe 100,000 miles on it. And they just destroyed it for people getting a decent car on the secondhand car. And what he's talking about, people going out, I mean, listen, unfortunately, people with the worst credit and the people that have the least are the easiest to take advantage of. Car people do it as well, you know, and get people into cars they really probably shouldn't buy or couldn't afford. But, you know, anyways, let's keep watching.
Less vehicles. As a matter of fact, our local Dodge dealership is still having issues getting vehicles. Now, we've seen in recent months and weeks recalls happening and companies they're hurting. They're in the hurt locker. Ford is a great example of one company where they have been trying to push electric vehicles and they are failing miserably.
Yeah, so they got pushed on this green car push by the current administration, which is really ridiculous. And listen, and they're having to try to, fight a Goliath like, a giant like Elon Musk. You know, it's just crazy. He's he rules that market. Yeah, I'm with you, Rob. Totally agree with you. But hey, Liam says he just picked up a 2021 Tundra with a back seat and an 8-foot bed, 44,000 miles for $30K. That doesn't sound bad. Let's keep listening to Ninja here.
Tesla, the first car company to come out and say, hey, the storm is coming, get ready. And Elon Musk announced that, in November of 2022. Everyone laughed at him. I was recording videos about that, and then boom, 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 he started hitting price drops. A great sign that not only the market had topped, buyers had stopped, but that auto prices were coming down, right?
Yeah, by the way, there's a chapter in my book, and those of you who don't have my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, that basically we call it, what do we call it, son? The chapter in my book? The chapter on getting ahead of the market? Leapfrogging, that's right. So I'm just testing them. Anyways, yeah, leapfrogging. And basically is when the market's trending and going down the tubes, you leapfrog and you sell what you're selling for less than everybody else. In other words, and I'm seeing this going on right now on LoopNet. I'm seeing it in the MLS. People they've got their price and they're taking turns lowering the price slowly, where instead of taking turns lowering the price slowly, you jump ahead of everybody. And like if you can tell that things are going to be worth $30,000 less than they are today, just take $30,000 off your price, put it out there on the market. Maybe somebody will bid it up a little bit. because you're a little bit too low. But the bottom line is you get ahead of all your competition trying to get rid of the property, and now you sell it, and yours is gone. And then by the time your deal is closing, guess what? It's already hit that mark where you had forecasted what it was going to be. And so you're out, you're clean. Everybody else is still taking turns going down the tubes by lowering their prices. So that's called leapfrogging. I do the same thing in an ascending market, or sometimes, and when I say an ascending market, it can just be in an ascending situation. If I am the first to a property and I know that by 5 p.m. tonight, everybody and their brother's going to be all over this property if it's on the MLS because everybody's off work. A lot of people don't have the freedom to go look at a property during the day. And so I'll just say, here, I want you to close the deal if they're doing like a bid type situation. So I might bid 20, 30, 40, 50,000 over everybody else. Say, but you got to close it right now. You got to close it right now. And they're like, well, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. We'll take it. They take it. And then come 5 o'clock at night, there's people calling up saying they'd give $100,000 more for it than what I paid for it. That is a real thing. What else we got here? Anyways, let's keep watching a little bit.
So now check this out. I got this story right here, and I'll make a quick announcement. I have finally almost completed the Auto Trader Pro course. It's still under. I haven't spoke on it like in 6 months because it's taken that long to get the pros on there to record the videos. I just uploaded another 7 lessons. If you want, the Auto Trader Pro course is $189 for the pre-filming. I put a link down below. It shows you how to save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on the next car purchase, whether it be new or used, from all of my 20 years.
I feel bad, but I'm going to jump ahead.
Auto prices moderate in 2023 with disinflation hitting new vehicle prices. It's really interesting. Everybody has been waiting to buy a vehicle at lower prices, yet most people waiting still cannot afford to pay cash. They are still reliant on debt. Now, right now, debt is getting tight in some places. A lot of places, a lot of companies, like let's say Dodge dealers or Ford dealers that have excess inventory that they cannot sell, you are seeing them doing in-house financing at very low, more favorable terms just to get people in the door. But
you know what? That's what the schools ought to do. We fund all these kids to go to school. In these huge colleges, they have billions. Many of them have billions of dollars in the bank. Let them finance those students. Let them finance the students themselves. They can get a 7% interest rate. Most of them don't make that out of their hedge funds anyways. Let the colleges fund those students. We don't have to do it and then have them default on us. Let them do it, and then they'll assess risk instead of letting just anybody in. Anyways, keep watching.
That is a great sign that the economy is falling. Okay, that's what people need to see. They come out with all these fancy numbers all over the internet about how sales are up, right? Well, what you can see right now is that China is exploding in the amount of vehicles that they're pushing out right now. What does that mean? Eventually, you're going to see, and not that these vehicles are from China, but other countries are also doing the same, and you're going to see more and more vehicles hitting these blocks. We're seeing fleets being.
Yeah, China's going to kill it on the electric cars, no doubt about it. And to be honest, I'm totally against electric cars. It's just a nightmare. When it comes to it, and believe me, I'm saying it'd be okay to have one for just running around locally, but in a crisis, the grid gets cut, or we get in a war and we lose our electricity. Yeah, you're a sitting duck. It'd be like shooting floating apples in a bucket. It's ridiculous. You got to have gas, got to have oil. Okay. Semi-truck prices are dropping also. Maybe we got a truck driver here. They don't want to pay, but yeah, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, if you guys want to see something impressive, you know what? I'm going to deviate from here just to share this with you because this is pretty amazing. This is pretty impressive. This is Elon Musk on the 18-wheelers. And I'll tell you what, there is some pretty amazing benefits of this electric car. I'm really deviating here, but what the hell, right?
By the way, this is you can legally drive that.
He talks about basically the engine for these things is about the size of a basketball, and easy to change, easy to replace, and whatnot. But also, they can pull. They weigh less. They can pull more. They get up to speed faster. But the other thing is that you can chain one truck to the other, and I don't mean with a chain. I mean they're linked together wirelessly, so that one driver can drive a truck and he can have one or two more trucks follow him to wherever he's going, and that the economies of scale, by the time you figure it out without the other drivers, that he starts to approach a cost that's getting closer to what it costs to ship stuff across the country by rail. So it starts approaching rail cost, which is tremendous savings compared to trucks. So I urge you guys to check this out. On Tesla, on these big rigs. I'm not sure if see if they have it. Yeah, it's just amazing how fast they get up to speed. So it is pretty phenomenal. And I am a big fan of Elon Musk. I think he tells the truth about a lot of things. I'm not 100% convinced about everything, but because I don't trust anybody that much. But he has done some pretty cool stuff, and he takes some stands that are not popular with the government, and it takes some guts to do that. So a big fan of Elon. Anyways, we're back to the Ninja here.
Hey, everybody, solve this. We pull over, we go to a dealership. We go to a Chevy dealer. And I said, I want you to go and look at the stickers, and we're going to find those stickers. And they're going to say the over MSRP. I'm not arguing with you there. And so she goes up the sticker. She's like, see, 5,000 over sticker. I'm like, all right. When the salesman comes up, I ask him a couple questions, and then I'm going to talk, and we'll see what happens. And ask him about the price. And she's talking to salesman. Salesman comes up. He's the sales manager, because it's really cool. It's really easy these days to be a sales manager at one of these places. All the sales managers and salesmen, please let me know down below. It's because there's no salesmen left. They've laid them all off. There's nobody buying cars. So there's only one guy, a sales manager, and possibly a salesman. That's it, right? The sales manager isn't managing a bunch of salesmen. He's just managing.
No, DL. I'm not talking about the drag. I'm talking about one guy driving three trucks. Anyways, not drafting, as they call it. Anyways,
the ability to try and sell a car a day. That's really what's happening. So the sales manager is talking to her, and she goes, well, what is this really 5,000 over MSRP? Goes, oh, absolutely. This is such a rare car. As a matter of fact, it's one of the only ones around. There's only 3 of these in the state. She goes, yeah, I know. The other 2 are in this, she knew the market really well. He's like, oh, crap. Okay, she knows. And I said, well, isn't that because there's just no cars available? He goes, absolutely. That's why they're rare. I go, okay. And I'll tell you what, I will buy this car without the MSRP markup. And he said, oh.
All right. So look, I'm going to cut him off here. I'll tell you guys something you should watch. If you are looking for a car, I actually did a very good video on how to buy a car. And just do how to buy a car, Flip Anything USA. I bought a lot of cars in my lifetime, but right there, buying car, negotiating right here. And I'll show you right in this video how to get the bottom dollar on any brand new car. It'll save you. And it's actually one of my more popular videos. Actually, how many is it? Yeah, 12,000 views. That's pretty good for that topic. Not kind of out of topic for me, but I have bought a lot of cars, and you can do fantastic. So hey, anyways, back to real estate. If you want to get in the webinar, just give a heads up. I don't even know if I'm going to do a live webinar tonight. I'm a little bit burned, but I can certainly sign up for it, and you'll get notice when the next one is. But you'll see how basically all these properties you see, this is how I made my first $1 million in the 1980s. This property out here, I made 300 and some odd thousand. This one here I buy about 130 grand on, and then all these little guys you see down here, anywhere from 20 to 100,000. You know, I was a millionaire in the 80s. You know, I made my first million, and I was in my 20s. It's a very good place to be, and you know, but that's where I'd love to see you guys, and then, you know, and then where I'll take you after that is I'll bring it to you know, today's date, to modern times, and what I've done in the last 30 years since then. And you can see all these properties. I bought every one of these, negotiated every deal by myself. Everyone bought, maybe with the exception of maybe one. I had a partner on one of these, I think. Yeah, piece of land, and that piece of land I bought for $205,000. That entity now owns about $7 million in real estate, and it all started with 50 grand, by the way. And that's just one little compartmentalized deal. Okay, that has nothing to do with the rest of my portfolio. But you know, all these houses, you know, commercial buildings, office buildings, you know, industrial. That's a 20,000 square foot industrial building. You know, this is a 4,000 square foot school. You know, over here, that's a 16,000 square foot office building. And these are assets I still own. You know, most of these I still own that you see right around here. You know, but these are the kinds of things that'll give you, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, you know, millions and millions of dollars a year of rental income, you know, and it allows you to be a spectator in tough times. And that's what I really would like to see for everyone. Yeah, right. What about how to buy a good wife? Yeah, I'm definitely not going to comment on that one. But hey, Jermone, good to see you, buddy. So look, those of you that are watching, like I said, sign up for the webinar, and you'll be you'll get the short list and told when and where it's going to be. As long as you sign up for the webinar, you should also sign up for the mentorship survey. It's right here. You just click on that. Just a few short questions right here, and you know, and I'll give you the best input I can. And really, I kind of want to only limit people coming in this month to people that have a net worth of, you know, at least 50,000 liquid. You know, you could be worth a couple $100,000 or whatever, but people that have 50 to, you know, a couple $100,000 liquid. I kind of want to concentrate on those people, because you guys have shown a discipline of saving money, and I have no interest in getting at your money. You know, I don't offer a fund or anything like that, and I'm not Chris Crone. I'm not looking for you to be a partner with me, but I am looking to see you make some money and make the right decisions, and not get screwed out of your money, and not get it tied up in a shitty fund for 10 years and make 4% or some miserable amount like that. You know, you can take $100,000, you can double it every year at a minimum. That is easy. That's small. That I can tell you, these students that you see here, you know, off to my side here, you know, these guys have all made, you know, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in a relatively short time. And all of them, you know, are looking at more cash in their hands than they've ever seen in their lifetime. And it's all from real estate, and it all happened since they took my mentorship. And I'm very proud of that fact. So, hey, I'm going to call it quits here, but again, please sign up for the webinar. Again, fill out the mentorship survey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and get in the webinar and take a look at this. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face to face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.
And listen, time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything USA. Go.